Yep.
Alright. Hello, everyone. Hello. I'll What up, Sam? I'm just sending out this tweet to be responsible. How about them Mavs? How about them Stars? Oof.
Bro, my text was really at the worst fucking time.
I mean, if we could timestamp when you texted me saying, "Man, what a game," and when that final goal was, it might have been at the same exact second that you sent that.
It really may have been. I literally sent the text and I looked back over and the goal happened and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to sleep.
Right.
Dude,
I
that
mean,
Mavs game though, oh my god.
See, so what's funny is I turned the Mavs game on. I mean, you know me, I don't watch basketball hardly, let alone the Mavs. But when I turned on the Stars game, I was like, oh, let me flip over to the Mavs game. And then it was like up by 40. I was like, well, all right, gonna turn this one off. This one's done. Like, that was. Could you imagine being at that game knowing that you just paid like hundreds of dollars for one ticket? And
I mean, imagine if you were sitting anywhere near the first 20 rows, you paid over $1,000 a ticket.
Yeah, like you just these
And
celebrities.
your game was over by halftime.
Right. And like
The
celebrity
game was over at the end of the first quarter, pretty much.
like Lil Wayne, like he doesn't give a shit, right? But it's like these people who just like, I'm a diehard Suns fan. We're going, you know. This is our vacation this year, honey. We're gonna go. That's boom. Like, oof, this hurts.
Lil Wayne was pretty vocal about this series too, so it was nice to see him get a front row seat to that.
Right. I guess he's from Phoenix, or is he just a bandwagon?
No fucking clue.
I swear I've seen him wear every jersey before. So, all right, you ready?
Yep. Luca is not a hoe. We need to time out before you start.
No, that's what Lil Wayne tweeted. Was Luca a hoe?
Oh. Okay.
Like,
oh yeah, he did.
He did tweet out.
Sam, you almost got insta banned just now. I'm so glad Tim clarified.
Yeah.
That's right. He is from New
He's
Orleans.
from New Orleans and a Packers fan, which explains everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Which is fucking asinine because I have friends that are from New Orleans that are like Saints fans, and it would be fucking blasphemy to them. Like you just like to them, it's like you don't root for the Saints and you're from New Orleans. You're not from New Orleans.
Like any fan base, you know,
right? Even like if I'm from Detroit, and when I hear people saying they're from Detroit, but they're like, I don't like the Lions because they've always been bad. Like, get the fuck out, okay?
I do find it weird for somebody to have a different favorite sports team if their hometown has a team.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like I know it's like you didn't choose where you were born, but it's like that's just life.
That's just how it works.
You don't get to just pick. Oh yeah,
99% of the people around you in your life have rooted for this team, and you somehow went off of that wagon. Like,
right.
Something's off.
Like I'm just a
diehard. I don't trust you.
New York.
I don't trust you.
I'm
anymore.
a diehard New York Yankees fan. You know, like there are some exceptions, and if you're younger, but eventually when you get older, like so, for example, growing up, I was a Philadelphia Flyers fan, a Chicago Bulls fan because Jordan. You know,
yeah.
Space Jam. I mean, you just like that's what I mean.
But you gravitate towards
right, like growing
one.
up, Michael Jordan, Space Jam, everything. So it's like growing up, I was all Bulls out, right? But then I think like once you hit like I don't know 14, 15, you're like, well, this doesn't feel right.
I think for me, it was when I was younger, I just I liked the Mavericks, but I liked a lot of other teams.
Right.
Like I really liked obviously the Bulls, the Magic when they had Penny Hardaway and Shaq. Like that was like
yeah,
everybody wanted to be like Penny Hardaway for a while there, and but then you get older and it's like you have one team. You don't have
Right.
time to watch fucking
And,
20 games
and even
anymore.
for me, like I moved around, and like I lived in St. Louis when the Rams won the Super Bowl and McGuire Sosa rivalry, and McGuire broke the record. So I was there peak sports for St. Louis, and while I was there, diehard St. Louis fan for everything. And it's like I'll still watch them. I still root for St. Louis teams, and I have St. Louis merch.
It's normal if you're living in the city, I feel.
But nothing like affects my day like a Detroit loss, And that's how you know. Like if you ask someone, well, what team would you rather see win? Like what team affects your, like if the Lions lose, despite them only winning 4 games in the last 2 years, like Morgan knows, like, okay, this is going to be a shitty Sunday. Like you're going to be in a shitty mood because your 0-14 team lost again. Like, it's like, yes, but this could have been where we turned it around, babe. Like you don't understand. No, I support the Red Wings now. Growing up, I was all Flyers. All Flyers. Paul Coffey was my favorite player.
So, yeah, I was Penguins.
Right.
It was Mario Lemieux and Yager for me growing up.
Yep. So Paul Coffey was my favorite player on Detroit. He went to Philly, and I followed him.
I hated Philly because of Lindros.
Yeah. See, and I loved him back then. Also, I had an older brother, so I just had
90s hockey. There's nothing like it. Okay, that's 100% real comment right there.
Right. Like I liked everything opposite than Anthony, my older brother. So he was a Red Wings fan. They played Philly in the finals that year. Boom, Phillies fan.
Philly was your team.
Like done. So he was a Michigan guy. Michigan State was my college growing up. So it's just that's how it worked. But
what a dick.
Peak Favre Elway rivalry. He liked Brett Favre. Boom, I was a Denver fan. Like that's just how it worked. And if you look at families,
makes a little bit more sense.
If you looked at our family pictures growing up, it's just I was always the exact opposite rivalry pick than my older brother. Now, you can't see it, but on this wall here, right off camera, is like a Red Wings shrine. So now I'm all Detroit. Like I said, I still like the Flyers. But they lose and someone tries to talk shit and
FaZe did not go. Am I gonna get 4 teams? Oh my god.
No, yeah, we're not gonna talk about pick'ems, man. That's just gonna depress everyone.
1, 2, 3. Who does Vitality play?
Heroic.
So I can get one of them.
G2 plays Furia.
You need 4 teams, right?
Yeah.
Don't you need 4 teams to make it?
I don't know.
Oh my god, I'm in trouble. I need. Oh.
So we'll talk about it. All right, you ready then? Is that the sign that you're ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Wait, hold on. Let me.
Oh shit.
All right, ready?
Yeah. I'm loading in to see what this says, but I'm ready.
All right.
Do your intro.
Hello, welcome. What is up? Welcome to episode 384 of the Centering Esports podcast. And this is going to be the best episode ever because we will talk all things CSGO, PGL Major, Antwerp, as we're in Legend Stage. And we're excited. Lots of drama, lots of match-fixing accusations, bugs, you name it, it's been in it. So we will talk everything like that. Special Yikes of the Week edition, all CSGO related, as well as e-news to wrap things up with. But before we get to that, let me tell you about the show sponsor, Philly Esports. You know them, you love them, we love them more. They have started, thousands of esports careers, Anuj, in their lifetime, and they could start yours right now as they host online and in-person events, local to Philly, online available anywhere. So they have an online collegiate event coming up here May 27th through the 28th. So that's just in like a week or two, week and a half. Get a calendar, figure it out. Right now, League of Legends online collegiate event, $3,000 prize pool, completely free to sign up, sponsored by the U.S. Army. You got nothing to lose, so get you, your college buddies, you know what, enroll. Just enroll in a community college if you have to qualify for the event. Become a esports pro and then drop out, like they all do. Live the American dream, drop out of college. Only with PhillyEsports.gg. Go ahead and do it right now.
Hi, I'm Hungrybox, and you're listening to TCR.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to another edition of The Centering, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, presented by Philly Esports. The date, May 16th, 2022. The time is 9:06 p.m. Central Time. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at The Centering and join our Discord. Be a part of the conversation there, as we are talking CS Major all day long. That is all the rage right now in the Discord. So, and deservingly so. So join that through our Twitter, at The Center Ring. My name is Tim. I will be your captain for this journey into esports. And alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
I just got super salty before we started the show because I just went and checked the rules for the pick'ems, which I know you said we're not going to talk about, but I have no chance of getting the point for this stage. So now it's like I was in such a good mood about 30 seconds ago.
So rip any chance of a diamond?
If you have to go perfect, then yeah, I will not get it.
Look, you're not alone, and I would love to see the pick'ems after this stage, because it's horrendous. Like, friends don't let friends look at their pick'ems after this event, after this stage, because it's been busted every which way it could, and we'll talk about it. Maybe that's an impromptu Yikes is our pick'ems.
Yeah.
Because it is truly unreal. And I guess if you want, we can get right into it. I was going to tell you that I worked out the other day and I'm super sore, but, you know.
I mean, I could tell.
You know, you see the
orange is really...
Orange
is making you look about 20 pounds lighter.
A little bit. I did a light workout for the first time, I would probably say in maybe 2 or 3 years. I don't think I've worked out since my kids have been born. Like,
which part of your body hurts the worst?
My gluteus maximus, I would probably say, is just my legs.
Riding a bike, or what were we doing?
Like stretches and squats and, you know.
Oh, so you weren't like running or anything like that?
No, sir. That's baby steps. We're not running. Just if I start getting into shape by running, it's going to last maybe 20 minutes and I'm going to be like, this sucks.
This is the worst decision ever.
Like, I am so tired. So no. Though my goal is to run a 5K some point in my life. I've never been, even in my peak fitness though, I've never been a runner. Like, endurance was never my thing.
I was in cross country.
Like hockey, you go out, skate for a minute,
brutal.
Go sit back down. Like,
we got volunteered for cross country because we played soccer.
All right.
I said, "Oh, y'all run, so you have to be on the cross country team too."
It must be easy for you. No, I was even when I did play football, I was a lineman. So the expectations of running was like, "Hey, Tim, go run a mile in like 30 minutes, okay?"
Our cross country coach was our football one of the football coaches, the assistant coaches. He didn't care. He used to sit in his truck while we ran, and he would drive next to us, drinking his coffee, watching us run. I'm like, "Oh, this is."
That sounds
super motivating. He's like chasing this dude's truck up and down the hill.
Pretty standard for Texas high school football right there for you. No, so I worked out for the first time in a long time, and light workout. When I say light, I mean I know myself.
Hey, I'm getting the juices flowing, dude.
I'm 31 years old. I know my body, okay? So I do a light workout, but I'll tell you what, I am so sore I might as well have been training for the Olympics. So
yeah, no. I mean, I should join you on this endeavor. I need to start working, especially with baby number 2 coming, dude.
I'm telling you, need the energy. Like,
I do. I really do.
I find myself more and more wanting to murder my children, and I think that's partially because I want to die on the inside because I'm so tired. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe at 31 years old, I should start thinking that maybe my health has something to do with this. So
You got a 5-year head start on me, so maybe I should start now.
and I got to get into DreamHack shape. DreamHack is in like 2 weeks, so I need to drop like 40
You need
pounds.
to be able to make it the full weekend. Like you can't
Right.
burn out night 1 and then day 2 you're just exhausted and
And,
don't want to do anything.
There's normally a line of people to meet us and take pictures, so I want to look good for them in photo op. Like I just got in photo op shape.
Just wear black.
So just a black
Sort of whole
leotard,
black.
just a black bodysuit,
Like a trench coat.
right? So there's that. But on to something more depressing than our physical health.
Our weight loss journey.
Is believe it or not, doing better than our pick'ems. Because the first yikes of the week here, as we have a special all CSGO major related yikes of the week. Our pick'ems, and I think everybody else's in our discords, is completely destroyed. Like if you're telling me your pick'ems is right, I'm gonna say it was like one of those joke, haha, look at who I'm picking to make it through type of situations, because there's no rhyme or reason on some of these, on the way it works. And I'll tell you this, I think this is where it went wrong. And this happens every time I do pick'ems, is I always think like a betting man, where I think like, oh, if this underdog makes it through, I'll get more points. And that's not how it works. There's not like an over and under with it. So I picked some obvious that I thought were obvious to make it through, like clear picks. And if I look at my pick'ems, I think I picked too many teams from the challenger stage to make it through. And if
one of them is Imperial, you might be okay.
See, I don't think I did, though. I don't think I did. And I think the issue is we see these guys play in the challenger stage, and they're like fresh on our minds. And I'm like, oh man, Vitality, they just played really well in the challenger stage. And I mean, like I have ninjas in pajamas. Like I haven't seen them play in a while. They sucked last time I seen them play. And then I forget that they were already legends for a reason. And it's like,
they're in the waiting for a reason.
Yeah. Like they've qualified past the challenger stage for a reason. And that's because they are better than half these teams, despite what we think of them on paper. Like NIP has been playing very well in their placements here at this major so far has shown that. And my pick'ems has
it's also like
been
there's
destroyed.
going to be good teams that don't make it. That's just the way it is.
Yeah,
that's the way it works.
right.
So there's always going to be, especially with like the Buckhold system, like you're going to have upsets, and it's made for some fantastic viewing. But
right. And that's why we talked about it in Discord, the Swiss format, and it's very like 50-50. Like you talk to anyone about the Swiss format, they either hate it or they love it. I love it as a fan for exactly this. It causes chaos. You don't know what to expect. You got good teams losing and bad teams winning, and that's awesome to see.
It makes every game matter.
Right. It does suck,
like every
though.
game really feels like a playoff game, does it not? Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I lost. We're in the 1-1 or 0-1 bracket.
Oh, it's huge.
It's
especially
just
if you
big.
like go 0-1 and you start with that one loss. You're like, guys, we really have very little wiggle room here now to lose again. It does make it nearly impossible, though, for a talk show to talk about it, because you just kind of have to talk about what ifs and things like that. So rip our pick'ems. I don't think there's looking here. I don't necessarily remember who I went through. The only one I know I got right was Liquid going 0-3. That's it.
Like, I have a lot of teams in contention to make it. The problem I have is the matchups that are set for tomorrow.
Like they're all playing each
all
other.
the teams that I like, Heroic and Vitality. I have both of them making it.
You know what?
G2 and Furia. I have both of them making it. So they play each other, and that's unfortunately going to be my undoing. But overall, it is what it is. We'll go get that gold coin or whatever the next one is, and just never display it.
I took a picture of my pick'em, so I'll actually pull them up here. See what I did. I know I picked Cloud9 going 3-0, obviously. And then I was brave enough to pick Liquid 0-3. So here you go. I have going through Cloud9, ouch, heroic, yikes, heroic and vitality. So right there, insta one gone. Phase, good. Ents, good. And then I have G2 Furia, yikes, because they're playing each other. So
Yeah, but you could get 5 still because you got your 3-0.
Oh, I did get I got my own 3.
0-3, whatever. Yeah.
So thanks NA for that.
So you should be good.
1, I guess no matter what, I'm gonna get 2 tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So you're like set at the base
6.
one. That's all you need.
Yeah, I'll have So I'm a
5.
genius. What am I talking about? My pick'ems were actually on stellar point, and I'm a CSGO expert. You, on the other hand,
Yeah.
tune into my masterclass. So there's that. All right. So that was my impromptu yikes. If you want to take the lead here.
I want to just start with the big boy one here because this is the one I was excited to talk about. Thorin's tweet. Tim, I'm sure we've all seen Thorin's tweet by now, and if you haven't, because you're blocked, like half of the community is. Hands raised if you are. Hands raised if you are. Tim, I wrote this down word for word because it was too good.
In fact, the only reason we knew about this tweet is because our lovely listener on Discord knows that he's blocked both of us erroneously, by the way. Thorin listens, so shout out Thorin. I know you're listening right now. We would love to have you on the show. We make fun of you, but we would still love to have you on the show. But I know you listen because we've never once tweeted at you in our live, and we're both blocked. So.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive, actually. Unless he just like randomly blocks people just to like make it seem like he's like,
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, wouldn't put it past him at all. This is what he tweeted. There's also a good dude of the week mixed into this yikes of the week. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a double whammy here, a double banger.
Love it.
Thorin tweeted, "Fallen is the most overrated player in the history of CSGO. Has never been the best player on any lineup, but people try to make it sound like the guy was Zidane." I don't know about you, Tim. Fallen, when I think of Fallen, okay, because this is a major yikes, and I'll get to the good dude moment here in a second. But this is a major yikes because he, being a historian, should be much more knowledgeable on this than me because I don't know the stats. I can't tell you the stats. But when I think of CSGO history, obviously the Brazilian era of MIBR, SK, whatever, Luminosity, all the brands they were under come to mind. And yes, maybe I think of Coldzera as like the high fragger on that team, right? Like that's probably most people's pick to be like, hey, if we got one fragger, who is it? It's probably Cold. I thought of Fallen as not only the best IGL in the game at the time for at least a 2-year run, but I also thought of him as like a top 2 or 3 opper at any given point in the game.
No,
maybe
sure.
he was competing against the Guardians,
but he was in the discussion.
But he was way better than Skadoodle. But like,
I mean, look, for the longest time, Fallen, and I guess still is, the NA killer. Like, you just knew if you were an NA team and you were playing against Fallen and his posse in a major, it was done. It was rip. You weren't making it through.
Anybody, though, right? At that time, like during their run, it really didn't matter who they played, whether it was one of the Swedish groups, if it was obviously an NA team. I mean, NA had no chance, right? There was really no chance for us. It felt like Liquid versus Astralis over the past couple of years. I just don't.
This is the dumbest tweet. And you know what? And I'm sure behind closed doors, maybe he's laughing because this is what he wanted, right? He wanted people to talk about it. He got the impressions. Everyone knows if you piss off the Brazilian fan base, like that's like an insta million impressions at the least. And like with carryover to every other tweet with them.
He really believes it is a scary part because he's like gone delusional at this point, right?
If he believes it, his close circle of friends, Richard Lewis and the other 2 people that still support him, they need to sit him down in a room and honestly be like, Thorin, you got to get back on your meds, bro. Like
whatever it is, you need to get back on it
because this is ridiculous. To say that Fallen was not just overrated, the most overrated. That's insane.
Like, Fallen over the past 3-4 years has been an overrated player a little bit, right?
But even
Like,
then, I think properly rated. I think everyone says, oh, if Fallen could just get back to old Fallen, you know?
and that's also true. But like, in the sense, if you thought of him as like, he's still going to, he's doing it now, so this makes this more difficult, right? Like in this exact moment. But over the past couple of years, it's been like a lot of letdowns because they
Yeah.
tried to keep it as an all Brazilian roster, except for his short stint on Liquid. But like, again, during his prime, which is all that matters, because nobody stays in their prime forever. That's why it's your prime. You know, during his prime, he was easily one of the elitist, most feared players in the game. You weren't just worried about his play in the game, you were worried about his freaking, what was he thinking? You know, you were trying to get in this dude's head to understand how they were going to approach their matchup. They created the meta at that time that some teams still follow today. So I do believe it was a little bit of a trolly tweet, because I really don't know how anyone could think that. But when it comes to Thorin, you know, who knows? So the good dude side of this is Simple did clap back. I actually don't have the tweet in front of me. I should have pulled it up. But Simple did clap back on the tweet, calling him out and kind of putting him in his place.
I mean,
Definitely
he pretty much said, get the F out of here. Like,
yeah, like
don't
this
know
is
what
like the
you're talking
stupidest take
about.
type thing, you know? And several other people chimed in, but Thorin went private on Twitter for a little while after that, I'm sure, with all the hate that he was.
And the
he
best
was
part
getting
is
at
he
that
turns
point.
around. This is my favorite thing about Thorin, though, is he'll light the fire. Then when people try to clap back at him, like Simple, the best player in the world, just says you're an idiot. I'm sorry, you're an idiot. Like, that's how it works.
Yeah.
So the fact that you start all this and then he tries to talk shit to Simple and then blocks Simple, that just tells you everything you need to know about Thorin. The fact that he'll say this stuff that is just insane to begin with. Then Simple tries to say something to him. He gets his feelings hurt and then blocks Simple. And then he does this stupid thing where he'll like talk shit about Simple, even though he just blocked him, knowing Simple can't see it or respond back. It's like, bro, you are the biggest bitch in all of esports. Like, it's just
You know,
simple.
Like, for somebody that claims to be a journalist, or what, you know, a journalist, part of the media, whatever.
I mean, at this point, I think it's hard pressed to say that, but I get
You
what
know,
you're
like,
saying.
whatever he is, right? Like, you don't, you know, you see Skip Bayless have issues with LeBron James. You see different reporters all the time get into squabbles with players over social media, but they understand that it's like their own opinion and they let it kind of be heard and they don't block each other.
No.
With him, like, kind of just mass blocking anyone that has a and Richard Lewis is guilty of this too, right? Like, just mass blocking idiots that say something. There are some people that deserve to get it, but like, he's pretty notorious for kind of just mass blocking. Like, I don't know. That to me just doesn't feel like the way to go about it. In Thorin's case, he just says outlandish shit, and I think he's phasing himself out of the scene, which isn't really the worst thing. I think he's lost a lot of support over the years in general. People are just interested in what he has to say because it's shit like this, but he's slowly phasing himself out, which is probably a good thing for the CSGO scene in general.
Well, I mean, if it weren't for his close group of friends, what jobs would he have, right? It's kind of
The fact that he still was in the major last time around is like pretty crazy. He was just in the major not that long ago. And his band of mates, who none of them are there this time, which I don't know about you. I'm enjoying the talent and the cast behind this major quite a bit, actually.
No complaints on my side. I think look, we said it before that this was like one of the best
most deserving
the
groups
talent
that they could have put together,
right.
for sure.
So I think it's just a win-win for everyone in that regard. So there's that other Yikes here. Let me go with this one here. Do you want me to read this first one?
Yeah, go for it.
So EG, Evil Geniuses, parted ways with their coaching staff. Apparently 2 of the coaches, Anuj. Okay, so Evil Geniuses, they've been down on their luck. They have not been performing nearly as well. Let go of their coaching staff. Head coach, 2 assistant coaches. The issue with this, the assistant coaches did not find out until they saw the tweet.
That's the worst. That's really the worst, isn't it?
Mhm.
Like, so unprofessional.
And they actually met with like team execs earlier in the day,
talking about the future of the organization. Like, at no point
maybe
could
that's
this
what
have-
did it, right? Maybe they were
like, maybe they don't pay for the Premiere Zoom, so they only have 30 minutes and they cut off right at the 30-minute mark and they didn't get to it. But I don't understand how you can. EG to me is like a very big org, right? They're not like some
Yes.
small
No.
rink-a-dink company. They've gotten a lot of funding. I feel like you need to be run more professionally than that. You know, it's
Yeah.
not. It's okay to fire somebody. It's okay to let somebody go. In fact, in esports, it happens. You know,
Quite a
it
bit.
seems like every other day. And so I don't blame them for maybe wanting to part ways and make changes, but to do it in that way, super unprofessional. And this is coming from somebody that's in the world of
Hiring and firing.
hiring and firing, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know how you could do somebody like that. You know, it's like sending an email to let somebody go. It's a weird approach, and you should have more respect for the people that you work with.
EG's they've been getting a lot of bad press lately. You know,
Like, and
couple
they're
weeks-
doing some of the right things from an esports standpoint, right? Like trying to build out the CSGO roster and help the development of CSGO pros and the female teams, and like some of the, they rebranded after they had the crappy rebrand. They've done a couple of things to like help themselves, and then you see a story like that, and it's, every one step forward, I guess, two step back type thing.
Yep. The other one, I want to leave this one here last, so I'll bring up this last one here. Nico retweets of Tommy calling out heroic players and Katie specifically for knowing about the coaching bug. So this was what Tommy. Refresh my memory here. I know
Tommy is old player,
right,
and now he has turned into the GM or president of like Immortals Gaming Club, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And so he was at one point very involved in this scene from an analyst standpoint and things of that sort recently, but he's kind of stepped back out of the spotlight in terms of talking about esports all the time. His tweet, and I got it right here if you want me to read it.
go for it.
Tommy tweeted out, periodic reminder, as Cadian is again yelling at the camera that the heroic team, excluding some of today's players in quotes, definitely knew Hunden was cheating and did nothing about it. And again, called out the heroic players that were on the team, called out Cadian specifically, and then Nico just retweeted it. And this is prior to their game that they played. I thought this was pretty shitty on Nico's part to kind of fan the flames a little bit there, right? Like, I just
Though
didn't
not
see the
wrong,
need for it, because
right?
this
Like,
is
not wrong on Tommy's end. We've talked about first off, though, I think the whole, apart from coaches being suspended for this major, I thought that was all kind of behind us at this point, right? Did Heroic know about the bug or that their coaches were cheating? 1000% the players knew. We talked about it on the show a lot. I think we were like one of the only people in the scene that thought the players knew about it. A lot of people were turning a blind eye.
I think everyone thought that they knew. They just didn't want to like come out and say that about the players, right? Like, they would just be like, they would be a little hesitant to say it. We said it from day one that every player knew when their coach was cheating, except for like maybe the one-offs where it happened for one round for a brief moment. Like, sure, those instances probably not.
I will say this though, they've done enough since then and now to where I'm not like, oh, that's the only reason you're here today. Like, no, I mean, Heroic has proven enough that the coaching bug is not the only reason that they're where
and
they're
they
at.
did have to prove themselves again, like after all of that. Like, there was a lot of doubt that was cast upon them at that point, and they did have to like go back out there and earn the respect, which I thought they did as well. And for Nico to like tweet that or retweet that, thought that was a little bit of a shitty low blow move. Like, I didn't like that. Thought it was a little bit classless. I'll tell you, Redemption was made. There is a good guy or a good dude of the week tied to this Yikes too, and that's Katie and going out there and shutting them up, right, and taking that game in overtime against G2 today, to set themselves up to hopefully make it through to the next stage now. But a little bit of a redemption arc there. Still crappy play by Nico in the retweet. Like I just thought that was a little unnecessary. We should be past that as we talk about the major, right? Like the focus and the excitement should be around the games coming up and the player stories and the fact that we're on LAN and all this other stuff. And unfortunately, that kind of takes away from that a little bit. Tim, the last Yikes we have here, a lot of Yikes. Again, CSGO edition for Yikes. There was recently revealed to be a major, and I say major, smoke bug that was usable on the client for the major, and it was the most current one. And basically, Tim, this bug allowed you to throw a second smoke where a smoke had already been thrown, basically changing the elevation, right? So if a smoke is on the ground covering banana, for example, and you throw a smoke a little bit elevated on the car, I don't know, pick a box, a car, whatever, there on banana and Inferno. If there was an elevation change between the smokes, it opened up a one-way gap for the player that threw that second smoke. And so teams knowingly were out there abusing this bug. And most notably, once again, back to G2 in Monase, he was using it on Mirage Window, where he could create a little bit of a gap in the smoke and get some pretty insane kills with it. Obviously, the opposing team had no clue where these shots were coming from.
You wouldn't, right? And it seems like this was even to the
spectators
pros
didn't know what was happening at the time either because you couldn't see it the way they were like.
Right. It's not the game client type of thing.
Yeah, and like they just maybe weren't on that perspective.
And I don't think, at least for me and so far everyone that I've talked to about it, this was not like a known bug. Like
it wasn't known by everybody, but there were a lot of teams.
I'm sure some people knew about it, but it wasn't like a popular. Oh, everyone knew about this and they did it. Like
it wasn't like something crazy leading up to the major that like everyone was abusing. It all of a sudden just started happening when I think people realized that.
Because even when I saw the first time I saw
we know about, people are abusing it now.
Like so, Monase did it in their match against Imperial. And even when I saw the replay when it first happened, right, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, he used a bug, blah, blah, blah. Even I was like, I mean, yeah, but was it intentional? Like, that's such a crazy thing to do. And now
he also admitted to it. He said that he asked the admins beforehand if he could do that. They said, yeah, you can.
Well, like, what were those admins thinking?
Yeah, I mean,
this is what I love about this.
The players did come out and vote after it was being abused by a couple of teams. The players did come out and vote that they wouldn't use it. Obviously, since then, CSGO has patched it, so you don't have to worry about
Valve,
it being
right?
abused.
Let's give credit where credit's due. Good on Valve.
For sure. Like that was very, very quick, and I'm glad they did it, so you don't have to rely on the players making the right decision.
Let me tell you how dumb this situation is. So we're sitting here, and this happens every, I think, major. Right? There's always the jumping glitch, right? On Inferno.
Yeah.
Fanatics pixel walking. And, there's always a little thing here that the pros have figured out and they save it for the major to use. And then typically at that same major, they'll take a vote in GA, gentleman's agreement saying, hey, let's not use this, right? Like we said, good on Valve for not even letting that be an option. It's not supposed to be that way. We're fixing it right now. And we sorted it out. However, the fact that he brought this to the admin's attention and like PGL and said, hey, there's this glitch and this bug that we know. Can I do it? In a major where 3 days before start, you just banned coaches for using a bug that was in the game?
Yeah.
Like, what are we...
Dumb on the admin's part, but I'm sure they were also following...
admin?
Some sort of like, because you can create one-way smokes in the game, right? So you have to understand why this one is a bug, and maybe they didn't, right? Like they just looked at it as another one-way
I
smoke.
guess, but you
Whatever
gotta
the
get
reasoning
better
is,
people in there to host your major at that point. Like, if you
well,
don't know the
important
difference
thing
between
is
a one-way
that Valve
smoke
came in and
and
fixed
this,
it right away.
yeah,
You know,
like I said, I just think it's funny to me that they went
like
to the
who knows who
admin.
he asked too, right? He could have
Right.
asked like the random like
Of
dude
course.
just sitting on the side of the stage that's supposed to be watching them. You
The
know,
guy you
like,
see in the background holding a clipboard and
yeah,
this looks
like,
good to me. Sure, Mrs. Monase, don't let me tell you no. So it's just funny, and I know some people are saying they should be eliminated. Blah blah. Look, we see it all the time. It is what it is. I saw some people, friend of the show even, Dust was tweeting out saying like some snarky remark about there's a bug in CS, blah blah blah. Like how he's like, oh, it's 2022. How do we still have bugs? Listen, I don't think people understand how like making video games works. It's all code. And if you've ever worked in code before, one update adds a line, deletes a period here and there, and then it breaks something on the back end that playtesters who already get overworked 60 hours a week don't find, right? So yeah, unfortunately in the world of esports, the best bug testers are your pros because they're the ones who are going to play the game 100 hours a week in every painstakingly detailed spot, and they're going to find every little thing that can happen in the game. Like there will never be a game that comes bug free. Like it's just not. It's not the reality of it. So for people trying to shit on Counter-Strike for having a bug, I mean, get over it. Like that's gaming. That's especially in the FPS world. That's gonna happen.
Well, I think the important thing is how quick they reacted to it is what I wanted to see, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the cool thing because like you look at some other games like Call of Duty and stuff like that. There could be issues with some guns that are so advantageous to use that like they literally have to be banned by players for a whole year until the next game comes out because they don't fix that weapon ever.
Right.
So
thank God it wasn't up to ESIC, or it wouldn't be until 2 majors from now that they'd make a decision. So
or they would announce once G2 advanced tomorrow that they're banned, and we have to go back and figure out what to do.
G2 would go to win the major, and then ESIC would be like, "Oh, actually, no, we need to replay starting from that glitch." So there you have a packed Yikes Major CS edition. Now, general Antwerp talk. And I think I'm saying that right? Antwerp? That's how I'm saying
good.
it. That's how I'm saying it. All right, let's talk about the teams that we got to say goodbye to, Anuj, real quick. My 0-3 pick, funny enough, it was between these two teams. Bad News Eagles, which is that who you picked for your 0-3?
No, I took Spirit, the obvious pick.
You took Spirit for your 0-3? What an idiot. See,
if anybody thought they were going 3-0, I would like to see your pick them.
So my picks were between Bad News Eagles and Team Liquid.
I went with them, just so you know, because they played FaZe first round, and I thought they were going to lose that first game.
And then just go...
And then maybe snowball from there. But yeah, I mean, they destroyed FaZe,
So this is how... my logic was picking with Liquid. It's the same reason I never bet with the Lions, because that way I'm happy either way, right? Like either Liquid gets a win and NA gets a win, and you know what, my pick'ems are fucked, but at least NA won. But this way it's like, hey, Liquid went 0-3, that sucks, but I got my own 3 pick, so big brain play right there. I know NA is the laughing stock of CS. We get it. We do it. And trust us. We're very self-aware of that. However, we've talked about it on this show, and yeah, getting a win would have been nice. But I think just getting to the Legend stage is all I was asking of Team Liquid, or any NA team at this stage, right? Is just get to the Legend stage, say we got there. Yeah, I would have liked to seen a little bit better performance out of it, but you know, I wasn't expecting them to make it through. So whether you went 1-3 or 0-3, I guess you're going to the same spot, right? Like, doesn't necessarily matter.
I mean, yeah, ultimately it was like still disappointing after the rally they made in that previous round to go from 0-2 down to 3-2 to not put up a little bit more of a fight. You look at their first match against Heroic. That's a really tough matchup to unfortunately start off with. Then I thought their best chance would have been against Furia in that second game, because Furia is a team that they've played a lot, just through like the NA circuit and Furia competing through the NA region. I thought that might be their best chance because they've at least went head to head against them. They had a really tough matchup, right? Like, because again, Heroic, then Furia, and then their elimination game was against Vitality, and just an incredibly tough draw. But you have to find a way to win somewhere, and they couldn't do it. Like I said, they didn't really put up much of a fight because they did get stomped in the first game against Vitality. In the second one, it was like 16-10, 16-11. It wasn't that close either. So just disappointing. I think NA is a region, hell, if we want to throw Cloud9 in there now, although it's an all Russian team, as we know, it's like...
Hey, man, listen, people laugh when I kept calling Cloud9 NA. What is more NA than getting bounced by a Brazilian team? You answer me that question. What is more
Very
NA
true.
than being a favorite for an event, going 1-3 and getting eliminated by Brazilians? There is nothing more NA than that.
Still got twists in the major, I guess, at least. So there's that.
That counts. That counts.
I think he's Canadian too, so I don't even know.
Still North America. We'll take it.
Still North America. No, I think I've been so happy with the level of Counter-Strike where every game has been feeling a little nail-biter-ish, right? And then you've also seen like the surprise teams, which to me, the biggest one of them all is NIP on how they've played, because I thought...
Yeah.
I didn't think they were dead in the water. I just thought it would be really hard for them to find a way through when they've dealt with the amount of speculation and turmoil around that roster, right? And
I think, and I hate that I didn't pick them to go through. And you can look in Discord. I'm not lying. When I submitted my picks, I said, I hate the fact that I didn't put NIP through. I could have went and I changed it, but I stuck with my guns. But I hated that I didn't put NIP through, because I'm a believer that this NIP roster is real. I don't think they need Device. And at this point, I'm putting out the for sale sign, and I'm trying to get anything I can for Device at this point. I think this NIP roster is legit.
100% Device is done with this roster, right? Like, there's no way they go back from here and figure out how to work him in. Like, who are you letting go of? Like, I feel like everybody's playing a pretty vital role and playing it well. And you've held yourself in the top 10 consistently in the world rankings and higher at times. I think peaking at number 2 earlier. So yeah, they're not going to look back, and it's just been one of the pleasant surprises for this major. And I think for me, the other true standout, Tim, whether they make it through or not, is going to be the Brazilian squad Imperial. Like, they're the talk of the town, are they not?
You hope they go through, though, right?
I mean,
also, though, can I just say one last thing, because we're talking Imperial and Cloud9? The fact that since before the major started, people have been trying to, like, they did not want Cloud9 to win, and I understand it. We're a threatening bunch. We were the favorites going into this, and I say we because I put my blood, sweat, and tear into this, just like the players do. You got going in was, what was it for Cloud9? I made a joke about it. Someone tried to get them in trouble. Then you have the Hobbit drama, just conveniently right before their matchups for today, which we didn't even talk about in Yikes of the Week, but we can get in that in a moment if you want, Anuj, the Hobbit issue. And then with Imperial, Anuj, they're playing at like 11:30 midnight local time. Well, Cloud9, they're a healthy young bunch. I've seen them. They're at the stripe of their life. They're super healthy. Imperial, we all know Bolts is a vampire. That guy doesn't have a heartbeat. He doesn't care if it's midnight. He doesn't sleep anyways. So completely at a disadvantage, and I'm not surprised Cloud9 lost that.
Yeah, I mean, Imperial has, like, I think, put on one of those performances that becomes like the shining moment of a
Yeah.
major,
Well, they're the
right?
Cinderella team now, right?
Like they're the team that everybody, and it's funny because like this was a team, not like this exact team, but like this core of a team was a team that most fans hated outside of the Brazilian region for several years, right? Like you couldn't root with them because they were too good. It was just that team
Mm-hmm.
that was like too good, and you wanted to see them fall off from the top, whether you felt that way about Fnatic or Astralis at one point. It was like the same thing for them. And now it feels like everybody is behind this team. I mean, FNX, dear Lord, as much shit as we've given him and other people have given him, whether it's for attitudes on his team or not like having the work ethic needed to be at that level consistently. Like this guy is 4 years removed, Tim, from playing in like true tier one matches. And here he is playing at an elite level along with the rest of his team. I mean, it's just it's something unbelievable to me. I'm so happy to like see it happen. I think they got the best draw they could have
Mm-hmm.
hoped for
That's what I was
tomorrow.
about to say. Is like look at their journey to get to 2-2 at this point. You had Big, which we can talk to in a moment. Big's disappointing team so far. Like out of all the teams that have been eliminated, maybe Cloud9. Actually, Big, Cloud9, and VP all being eliminated already is a kind of a disappointment. But Big sucks. But the fact that at the time though, Big was I think was like a no-brainer pick to beat Imperial, correct? Like
Yeah.
first matchup, no one was taking Imperial unless you were Brazilian. Then you get G2. Okay, you're down 0-2 to start this stage against two good teams, but then the CSGO gods give you the toss-up of Bad News Eagles, Cloud9, which although it was a tough matchup, I think the third map proven that Imperial was the better team and Cloud9 was off this event to begin with.
But Cloud9 was a dreaded matchup for them
Going
this
in,
round.
right.
Yeah, like I mean, yes, they won and
right,
it's awesome,
like,
but
they lose 3 and it's 1-3, but Imperial, right, still a tough matchup. But then you get Copenhagen Wolves, or Copenhagen Wolves, Flames, Copenhagen Wolves. Was that an old team? Is that a soccer team?
I have no idea.
That's an old. I'm looking this up. Hold on. Did I just go like
Yeah, but now
full
now
like
you get
2015?
Copenhagen, and it really is the best matchup they could have hoped for. Copenhagen's playing great. They did start off hot, going 2-0.
Copenhagen Wolves. Copenhagen Wolves, for those keeping score at home, was an old team. Glaive, Valde, Snappy, former Hunden used to be on the team as well. Disbanded in 2016. So either I am just an
stack lineup.
So there you go. But they are not in this major. Copenhagen Wolves are not in the major.
No, and unfortunately for them, like they haven't had the same type of path, right? Like their path has been significantly easier. They had Bad News Eagles first round. They beat them. They took out Ents, which was a fantastic win, a really well played game by then. And then they, come back around in their 2-0 matchup, lose to Spirit. I think that they probably felt that was winnable. And then fall to FaZe today. So they've been all over the board in terms of who they're playing. I think for them, this is also a best case scenario in terms of matchups. So they should be really excited for this matchup too. But I think on the flip side, Imperial does not fear them the same way they would fear a Heroic, a G2 if they had to play them again. This is,
and like you
on
said,
both sides, a match made in heaven.
I think going into this too, after just defeating Cloud9 2-1, like huge confidence boost going into it as well. Like now I think that the last thing you want is for these Brazilian teams to remember that they're Brazilian, because then it's just going to go right back into where they're
they
just
got that Brazilian confidence.
That's
right
what
now,
I mean.
don't we?
Like
It's
you
on
do
full
not
effect.
want them.
They're
You just
peaking.
don't. Yeah.
Peaking in viewership, and
You don't want them in front of a crowd, because if they get that crowd behind them, it's done.
No,
Game over for
I'm going to
everyone.
tell you, like, I think they win tomorrow. I for whatever reason believe now. Wouldn't have believed this before, but yeah, I think they're going to play some smart CS tomorrow and just find a way to grind it out, and they have the ability to do that. I think you keep it close early. Um, don't let anything get out of hand and let them, wait for Copenhagen to make a mistake essentially. And, I think their experience will allow them to do that. And I'm excited. I mean, I want to talk about really tomorrow's matchups real quick because we do have 3 elimination games. These are all the 2-2 games. Tim, we got Heroic Vitality in the first matchup. Brutal that one of these teams is not going to make it through here. And same thing for the other one, which is G2 Furia. I mean, both of these teams deserve to be in that next stage, and only one is going to go through. I got to know, since you are the CSGO expert on this show now, who do you got
That's
going
right.
through between these 2 matchups here?
Between these matchups, as the CSGO expert on the show, obviously, Heroic will defeat Vitality. I am, how I'm very high on NIP right now. I am the exact opposite with Vitality. I think that they lost the roster shuffle. If they just, for what we were all expecting that roster to be, it's just so far from it. The fact that they're even getting to the round 5 matchup for Legend Stage tells you everything you need to know. Heroic, I think, is still playing on that swagger. I think Caden for the rest of his life will have a chip on his shoulder, just with everything that he's had to get through to get to this point. I like Heroic. Imperial, I do like Imperial. That might just be like how we were just saying, like you want that feel-good story. They're almost like the Cinderella team, which is weird because it's got Fallen on it, but as we know, Fallen is the most overrated player of all time, so maybe it makes sense. I don't know. The G2 Fury matchup is what intrigues me. On paper, G2 should win that, but I almost see that going down in like very G2 fashion. Like G2 is going to be dominating. They'll probably win map 1, blow a lead map 2, and then get blown out map 3. That's my prediction for that one.
Yeah, the funny thing is for this matchup, both of these teams have opposite map pools. So I think that I think they're both going to win their own map pick, and that one goes to a third map. And I think the decider map becomes really important on, I could see the decider map being something like Nuke, maybe a Vertigo where they're a little bit closely lined up, but I think this is going to come down to a game 3. I'm going to take G2 because I feel like they play
They
at
should
times.
they should be the winner. Like G2 should be the easy pick, but
I am going to go out on a little bit more of a limb here because I do agree with you that Heroic is like playing better CS right now. I'm going to take Vitality in that matchup. And for the simple reason, like I start looking at matchups, right? Like who's going head to head in what situation, right? And for me, I look at it as, okay, who are the oppers here? So we have Cadian, we have Zywoo. Both incredible. Cadian has looked really good, but I still give the edge to Zywoo in that, setup right there. IGL, Apex, Cadian, kind of see that being a little bit of a split 50-50 for me. And then it's just the experience that the 2 Danish players in Magisk and Dupree bring in this particular matchup, where it's like think of it as like your game. We talked about basketball earlier, like your game 7 to make it through to the next round. I'm gonna go with the experience here of Vitality to pull through. I'm not overly confident in that pick, but my gut tells me that they find a way to pull it out. And
which is, I mean, it's all fair points. Like that is a tough one, right? Like I said, because I think it's very much like the G2 Fury pick. Like on paper, Vitality should be the easy pick because Vitality shouldn't even be here. Like they should have already have qualified. This should be Copenhagen Flames versus Ents, right? Or Spirit. Like I don't even know what to say about Spirit going 3-0. Like that just is mind blowing to me.
I mean, nobody saw that coming, right? Like, and it a lot of it comes down to, who did you beat to get where you are? They beat Furia. That was a really big win. They beat Heroic, and then they beat Copenhagen in their best of 3. I think that's where they maybe got a little lucky in the sense that their BO3 BO3s are just harder to win, right? Because you got to do it across just a bigger span. It's not just
and
that
it's a
one.
best of what, 5, right?
What is
best of 3? Excuse me.
everything's BO3. Going forward at least now.
But I mean, in those round 3 matchups to go 3-0.
No, I'm talking about like they had their best of 3 game against Copenhagen
Right.
Flames to advance. For me, that was a little bit lucky because I think they're a good team, but like had they been up against a Navi in that 2-0 decider game, right, to make it 3-0, and they lost it, I also could have seen them kind of spinning a little bit depending on the matchups.
Look, we play this game every time there's a Swiss format, especially in the major. Look at the 3-0s. Navi 3-0, they'd beat G2, Big, and they had Nip in their decider match. Spirit had Furia, Heroic, Copenhagen. Like, 2 very different matchup sets,
But both had to play like good teams to get
look,
there.
we're in
It's
the
just,
legend stage of the
3-0
major. There's no
matchup is,
bad
like,
team, but
where it differs. I don't see Spirit being a real threat beyond this point. As good as they are playing, like I'm not because I picked them as my 0-3. I don't see it carrying over consistently in best of 3s. The 1-0, the best of 1s that we've had, anything can happen, and we know that, and we've seen that. But I think going forward, it'll be tough for them. Look, I think really the way I've looked at it, I've kind of changed my mindset. Initially, I had FaZe as this heavy favorite to win it all, with Navi looming behind them.
They were a close second, but
only because of everything they've dealt
Right.
with over the past few months, right? Not because I think FaZe is like naturally so much better than Navi, but like Navi's just been dealing with more recently. So now, as we've gone through this event, I see how hungry and motivated Navi is. They go back in my mind as the favorites. And there's like a group of like 3 or 4 teams where they're next in line. Any one of them could pull it off. And so FaZe has made me a little bit nervous at times so far, but I'm curious to see if they can settle down on land, like how different that's going to be. Like they feel a lot of pressure. They know they are the favorite.
Did you see
FaZe has never done well with that type of pressure, albeit different lineups. It's always been tough when they've been the favorite going into any major type event.
Did you see I think it was a MAC-10, the MAC-10 whiff from Copenhagen versus Flames from earlier today?
Mm-mm.
Oh my. I just got to look this up for you so we can see this. So I can get your live reaction on the show. This was Nuke. It was on Nuke, Copenhagen Flames versus FaZe. Someone on the Flames, I don't know who, was sneaking up on Kerrigan. MAC-10, back of the dude's head. Like, I don't know how. I'm trying to look this up and talk at the same time, so give me some slack here. Completely whiffed. He got the one dink off, and then it was just like you could tell he probably just thought, this will do it, and just completely whiffed after that. Let me try. Where is this? See, I saw this. Here we go. I'm going to send this to you in our chat. We're going to get a live reaction on a podcast of Anuj watching a video.
Where did you send this to me?
I'm going to send this to you on the Facebook chat.
Oh.
Since we're boomers and still use Facebook chat. But this is for anyone who hasn't watched it. You need to watch it. I will link it in our Discord. So Anuj just pulling up the video.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Oh my god. I'm rewinding. Hold on. Oh,
that's unbelievable.
No.
I'm not saying that has
Watch it
any
one more time.
significance in the results of the match.
I don't understand.
But that's unbelievable.
It's like he just like lost control. I honestly feel like he dropped his mouse. Like I don't know how he didn't finish that kill. That's
Like,
crazy.
that's
You
one
know
of
what? It was at 14-6, so I feel a little better for him watching this because at
it's
least
not like that's what lost them the match.
it was over at that point already. But
It's not like Hiko whiffing the deagle where everyone was like, "Oh, that could have made the difference," right? No, this
would have made the difference. Yeah, this would not have made any difference.
No.
They just would have lost 15-6.
But
instead.
still, just looking back, that's when you just blame the game, right? Like that's when you're like, guys, I don't know what happened. Like,
I mean, to be fair, the first couple shots did hit in the head, and then he just threw his mouse over to the side and
just
started aiming somewhere else completely. But
held W, ran right into him. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable whiff. Point blank Mac 10 completely whiffed on the dude's back. So
now when we recap next week, it will be after the finals, huh?
yeah, I think so. I think you are right. Championship
I wish
stage.
we would have had some like
It's May 20th.
playoff set talk here, but we're one day away from that. Tomorrow we got our final slate of games before we're set to tee off.
If
again
we
next
feel
Friday.
like it, we'll either talk about it in Discord. So if you want our playoff opinions, we'll talk about it in Discord, or maybe we just do like a 20-minute playoff preview episode if we got the
Maybe
time.
we'll stream video games later on this week.
There you go. There you go. We'll stream playing games and we'll talk about it. That will probably be what we do, so we can have best of both worlds. So either way, we'll definitely get our predictions out on Twitter or Discord for the playoffs, so we know it's official and we're not changing our minds. So once we have the official bracket, so there's that. So far, the major's been incredible. Let's circle back to one more Yikes of the Week, though, because I do want your opinion on this, and that is Hobbit. Have you seen the allegations going on with Cloud9 Hobbit?
I have, and okay, so just to, I guess, kind of quickly
catch everyone up to speed. Former teammate of Hobbit from way back when has came out and said, yeah, I'm aware of some players in the Kazakhstan scene who threw matches, and Hobbit was one of them, saying that back when they were teammates, they would throw pistol rounds that Hobbit would bet on, right? So they would bet that they would lose a pistol round and then throw said pistol round. And that's the gist of it.
Yeah, and look, first of all, this is from a really, really long time ago, as you mentioned.
Like 2015, right?
Doesn't make it any better, but I feel like there's like some sort of statute of limitations here. I would like to think Hobbit has since grown, if he is guilty of this, okay, because he's denying that.
Of course, yeah. And Hobbit said to sum up Hobbit's statement, and this was prior to the match, I don't have time for this bullshit, and I'm going to go play. That's basically what Hobbit said was, nope, not me, never did it.
Like, this guy claims to have like actual evidence that this did happen. So let's just say he does. Let's say he has the evidence. I don't necessarily want to see him punished for this. Not because I don't think what he did was wrong, but like around that time, we set the example with Cloud9. And
with
I would like
iBuyPower.
to think, or iBuyPower. I would like to think that was kind of like a game-wide punishment for anybody involved, right? That we are taking away 4 of your favorite players from this video game. Now everybody cut it out. This was around that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think around that same time, salaries were nowhere near what they are. The professionalism in Counter-Strike is nowhere near what it is. And
well,
we can
and
tell you from
especially
firsthand experience.
Like what level was Hobbit playing on back then?
Yeah, this is like what, tier 2 Kazakhstan CS, like
right.
It's like, if he did it, I'm disappointed. I think that, obviously he might have to like volunteer his time to maybe talk about it. And like, if he did it, I think that, should be some sort of punishment to help educate the community,
right?
But not to like go back and witch hunt him from like 6 years ago at this point.
No, disclaimer, obviously Cloud9 fanboy. I view Hobbit as a teammate, and I do love Hobbit. I think he's a sweetheart. I just want to pinch his chubby little cheeks and
Well,
you
and
know?
I love how they came directly into the Cloud9 branding and like really took it back to its roots.
Yeah, I mean, look, getting back. Look, this was such an NA day for Cloud9. You get bounced by Brazilians. You got a match fixer on your team. Like, this is peak North American Counter-Strike, people.
Like this is where we just started peaking. So like wait till next major and like they're gonna have it all.
Right, like this is exactly what North American Counter-Strike was built on. So they fit right into the scene. And you know, I agree with everything you said. I'm not condoning match fixing, right? Of any nature, whether it was just a pistol round or not. Not condoning it. It's not cool. But this was from, 6-7 years ago. And do I want to see a guy playing tier 1 Counter-Strike this entire time be punished for something he did in tier 2, tier 3 Counter-Strike? Not necessarily. Like, I don't necessarily think that adds up, right? It's apples to oranges for me. Same thing. And look, I think we all can also all look back and admit that the punishment to iBuyPower was too much. So I don't necessarily agree with this witch hunt that some people are trying to do on Hobbit, saying, oh, he needs to be punished, he needs to be banned forever, kick him out of, Cloud9, Cloud9 should be eliminated from the major, which they are, so it doesn't really matter. But I think we can all look at what happened with iBuyPower, and I thought we all kind of grew from it, saying, you know what, the lifetime punishment was a bit too much. So for all these people saying that he should be banned from competing again, it's like, guys, did we not just get through this? Right? Like you said, now if he wants to come out and later admit, like, look, guys, I did this. I was much younger. My salary was peanuts at the time. I only did it on pistol rounds. Haven't done it since. This is my story, and kind of do like a redemption story for it. I don't know what you want to be punished for from 6-7 years ago for a match fixing a pistol round. Like, I don't know what the punishment for that is. So
no, I think it's just too hard to go back and look back.
Yeah.
From that far away for that particular instance, half the bets were canceled because there obviously was something fishy going on. Like the company that took the bets canceled them because they realized.
Look, if that's the case, then we're gonna have to turn back the pages on a lot of these pros when they were younger, because a lot of them in low tier Counter-Strike, I can tell you, because look, betting is not what it was. Yeah, you have betting now, but like back in like peak skin betting days, dude, like those lower level CS leagues that these betting websites were pulling from like tier 3 in NA Counter-Strike, those guys were definitely throwing and match fixing all over the place. So unfortunately, that's just a part of esports history, right? It's part of that Wild West age of esports that maybe we're still a little bit a part of. But I don't know. I would really be curious to see someone who thinks Hobbit should be punished to the full extent of the law, what that entails for them. And what was their opinion on the iBuyPower situation towards the end of their lifetime in CS, right? Because it's much different. I think when it happened, a lot of people are like, yep, I agree with the lifetime ban. And then like 3 years into it, people are like, seems a bit silly, doesn't it? So
yeah.
I don't know.
And I don't like the timing of the release. Like to do it, that also is
they
kind
just
of
wanted,
annoying.
they knew Cloud9 was on a destiny to win this major, and they just thought maybe we should knock it down a bit. So understandable. I would do the same, but alas, we'll see, I guess, right? Wait and see. But boy, how do you think Cloud9 feels? They get back into Counter-Strike. Their team gets bounced 1-3, and one of their star players gets accused of match fixing.
Yeah, they
tough
might be
first,
picking up a VP player too.
Tough first couple weeks.
VP guys are about to be all unsigned and free agents. Maybe you throw in Yikes into that lineup somewhere, and you could build something pretty crazy.
All for the best. So there you have it. Antwerp Major thus far. Legend stage wraps up tomorrow. The finals are this weekend, so we will maybe stream sometime later in the week, maybe play some Counter-Strike and talk some Counter-Strike at the same time. If not, at least definitely be in our Discord. So be sure to join that and all that fun stuff. All right, let's get into some e-news. Keeping on the CSGO page, OG bench Valde and Nico after a bad showing in the RMR. I don't know. I know you were a big OG guy. I'm a little surprised by this. Seems a little odd to me because I thought despite their bad performance, they were still performing okay given OG's level.
Definitely falling short with the money that they were probably spending. And I think letting go of Valde is a weird decision because he's like arguably one of your best players. So I don't know how that necessarily helps you unless you have a plan. But Valde will not have a tough time finding a team. He'll probably take Zipnik's spot here in a few weeks. So then that would be a super deadly lineup there in Astralis. So I think you're going to see Valde definitely end up on his feet somewhere very soon.
Dignitas announces roster overhaul and all players are available. It is a fire sale for Dignitas. Other breaking news alongside though with this announcement, people also was reminded that Dignitas had a CS team.
When has Dignitas not had all of their players available
Right.
in the last 7 years? I mean,
Like-
have they had a good team? I don't even remember the last time they had a good team. I'm not even talking about having the old folks home with old NIP because that was a tragedy for most. Like, when have they had a good CSGO team? It's been so long.
Everyone else,
They live in their 1.6 days.
all the other orgs are like, no, Dignitas, yeah, we knew they were for sale. Okay, trust
we knew
us.
they were available. We're just not calling.
We knew you would have listened to offers, so don't worry about that one.
Yeah.
Jampy announces his return to CSGO, retirement from Valorant.
Look, this is back-to-back majors that has lured somebody back, right? Last major, who was it? Nitro decided to make his return. This major, Jampy announces his return, and not overly surprising. I mean, that there will be some more back and forth, right? We will lose some players to Valorant still, and we will continue to get some people that, come back home, whether it's to CSGO or to Overwatch or whatever it may be. That's gonna happen because Valorant is not the new shiny toy necessarily anymore. Like that game also is like what it is. You see what you're getting from it, and it's not for everybody. I'm happy that JMP was coming back because he got the unban. Obviously, they did that right when he left for Valorant. So a little shitty that he never got that chance to prove himself. He had some crazy offers before that happened, and I hope he gets those now that he's coming back because he was a special talent.
Agreed. And speaking of Valorant, the most odd timing for a roster announcement, Anuj, right after winning an event. Cloud9 announced that they are dropping Zeta for T1 Curry. Like minutes. When I say minutes after winning their match, I mean minutes after their match. Like, you look on Twitter, it is, yay, congratulations, we won. Boom. Welcome, Curry.
Announcement.
Like, it was insane, awkward, very curious to see.
I don't really know who the winner of this trade is. Like, I'm very familiar with both sides of the trade. I really don't know who's like. I mean, it looks good, better on paper, I think, for Cloud9. For T1, people are speculating that it's making a move to, if they don't make the NA circuit in Valorant, that they could be teed up for the Korean circuit in Valorant just to make sure that they're part of it. So those are some of the rumors and speculation.
T1 going back to Korea, which does make sense because we thought it was kind of always odd they went
T1's
NA.
owners said they're still going to focus on having an NA roster, but he's like, why not keep yourself available for both?
Of course.
So he left the door open. He said they're scouting both regions. They would like to remain in NA, but trust me, either way, they're not going to be left out.
I saw a funny comment on, I think it was Reddit, that C9 just did it to get an Indian on their roster because every team with an Indian on their roster ends up winning NA champs at some point.
Well, they just lost to
Not wrong.
Optic again recently.
Not wrong. VCT Stage 2 Masters coming into Denmark July 10th through the 24th. and the champs were announced as well, but we're getting in-person events. That's the important thing.
We're not getting any in the States, though.
No.
Is it visa issues or like what?
I don't know.
Seen a big event here in the States in a while.
I don't really understand why we can't get like North American VCT
I guess the only game we
events
kind of dominate at is Call of Duty.
Right.
Everything else is like more heavily European based, but still.
Yeah, I mean, you're
we
running
Overwatch,
NA events.
Overwatch too.
Yeah, you're running NA events. I don't know why you can't do NA live, but either way, it is kind of nuts that we're this far into Valorant's lifespan and we haven't had an official Riot in-person VCT event. Like all these big stages that have been set have all been without crowds. So, crowd. I think crowds always make things more exciting, as we've learned
For sure.
and Call of
see it here in a couple days.
Yeah, that's right. Looking forward to another, shout out DreamHack Dallas. Couple weeks. If you're going, we've heard some good things from our survival guide. People saying thanks. Super excited. I keep forgetting Counter-Strike will actually be there, so I'm pretty pumped. In Call of Duty news, NYSL released Neptune. This is, of course, kind of writing on the wall considering they've benched him twice. They've trialed him even more than that, and it's just, you feel for the kid because he's kind of...
When it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's just like he's kind of in a shitty situation where like the team as a whole hasn't been performing well. And it's just he's kind of, I feel like, gotten the short end of it, but that's just how she goes. In FPS news, day one of Rainbow Six Major Charlotte, North Carolina kicked off today, I should say. So for the Rainbow Six fans out there. And look, we also give credit where credit's due on this show. We talk shit about 343 Studios and Halo Infinite and the changes that they've made. We'll give credit, though. They are listening, and they are going to revert some of those technical changes that they made in the last patch. Some of the skill jumps are coming back, and they're doing a little bit more give and take rather than just take. Like, hey, we're not going to give you the curb dash because that was never intended and it's breaking maps the way they should be played, but the skill jumps can stay. So, give and take. I think that's fair. As at least they're listening on the esports side of the game, right? All you can ask for.
It was like a weird change to begin with, though, to take them all out.
Agreed. But, they fixed it. In FGC news, weird news from Street Fighter. For our Street Fighter fans out there, Bruce Lee family has told Capcom Street Fighters that going forward that, what's his character's name? You didn't put that in the notes, did you?
Finn? No. Yeah, I don't know.
Fei Long.
Fei
Long. Will no longer be in the game. And this is even came out from Capcom that the developers were like, it's not going to happen. Like, don't expect him in any future Street Fighter game. Obviously, he's designed after Bruce Lee in an effort to honor his legacy. He's been in the game since Street Fighter 2, since 1993. Just now, the family's like, hey, we don't like this. I don't know what's going on there. Just odd timing, but RIP to Fei Long.
Sad.
Yeah,
it's a long time. It's
weird.
A long time.
Multiverses, I think is what it's actually called. WB's Smash clone. Still in closed alpha, by the way. I think their alpha actually starts this weekend. So if you haven't signed up, go sign up for it.
Have you seen any gameplay?
I have not. From what I've heard, it's still very early alpha. Like it's very much more simple, dumbed down version of Smash, which like they were saying that like even like there's only like one or two punches. Like, Smash, you have like up to smash and whatever, forward smash, all that. That's not in this game. Still seems very early, but that's not the point, Anuj. The point is WB has announced at EVO coming up this year, they will be hosting a $100,000 tournament for the game. So it's farther enough along in their lifespan to where they feel like they can do $100,000, but it's also $100,000 more than Nintendo has ever done for Smash at EVO. So good on them for like $100,000. That's got to be the highest paid game out at Evo, right? Like that's kind of nuts to think.
It's like, it's 100,000 for first place or total prize pool?
I'm assuming that's the prize pool, but still, like compare. I mean,
That's
Evo,
still
you're
good compared to what we see.
like what that one time Evo Japan. If you won Evo Japan, you got a
You got a
controller.
gold controller.
Like, thanks guys, I already have one, but thank you.
I'm watching some gameplay. It looks
I think
okay.
it's free to play, so
Yeah, looks okay.
it's a Smash clone. Take it for what
Yeah.
you will. And in other news, Redfall and Starfield delayed till the first half of 2023.
I mean, are you a true video game developer at this point if you don't delay your game at least a few months?
Yeah, because we're bringing up this, the Arkham Knight game, they just canceled. They canceled previous generations just recently. So like they were gonna make it for the old Xbox and PS4, and they just straight up announced, no, we're not anymore. So
All right.
that's a new one. Just straight up said no. So we'll see. Is Starfield? That's not the game that you've been waiting for, is it?
No, that's Star Citizen, but Starfield is like another space game.
Yeah.
It's just not the one that.
Not the one that everyone has been waiting a lifetime for.
Tim, it's been only 7 years, okay? Please.
Hey man, I'm right there with you with City of
I've kind of
Titans.
given up on mine though. I don't think Star Citizen's ever coming out.
I've
At
been
least in like its entirety.
Look, Star Citizen's your Kickstarter game that everyone has that game that they backed up on Kickstarter that you just know you're never going to get.
It was like the era of Kickstarter video games, like that's gone now. If you try to put a game on Kickstarter, like good luck.
Yeah, it's just
You
not.
better have something really special.
It's
looking.
not going to work out. Like I did City of
No.
Titans, which was the people from Cities of Heroes that I loved, and that's just. I mean, I get it. They're a small team, but I just have very little to no faith that I will ever play that game. But that's the way it goes, I guess, in life. And that's the way this show goes. Because we are done. I actually forgot I had that sounder.
3, 2, 1, go!
There you go. Have that ready at the whenever we need that countdown. But that will do it for this episode. 384 of the Center Ring. It's done. It's in the books. We have 15 episodes left, ladies and gentlemen, until we take our hiatus, our break. So when we will return, you never know. So don't miss these 15 episodes. Get into the Discord, get into Twitter, get into the Twitch or YouTube chat. Be a part of the show. We would love it. We love you. So 15 episodes left. 400, mark it down. 400, our last episode for the foreseeable future. Never say never, but foreseeable future. We will be back next week talking the finals, recapping the Antwerp Major. So probably another very heavy CSGO episode. And
Probably
then
going to be all CS:GO next week would be my guess.
unless like, I don't know, someone murders someone in Valorant, then it's going to be all CSGO. And even then, depending on who gets murdered, it might just be an e-news. So
Yeah. In memoriam at the end.
just a little quick shout out. So that will be then. But for Anuj, I'm Tim. Love you. Bye.